All right, hey Hillary. So we're working Tehya again today. I'm in the indoor because it's storming outside. So I've done just a little bit of work with her today, not very much. I actually caught her and tied her earlier in the pen. Just let her stand and tied for a couple hours. Tied up all the other horses too. So she was just kind of standing with everybody. And then went and got her and brought her in here. And she's still, you can still see she's tense. She's kind of twitching. She's like, oh my gosh. My main goal with her right now is just to get rid of that tenseness, just get rid of that, oh my God, what's going to happen, kind of thing. And I think some of that is starting to be stubbornness and not so much fear. I think she used to be truly fearful, and she may still have, some of that. But I think she got in the habit of being afraid and the habit of interacting with humans in a certain way, of running away and different things. And I think she's just in the habit of that now, and now she's just like, well, this is how I interact. And so, I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna start working with her, but a little bit more, maybe saying, hey, don't be stubborn. Kind of setting some standards now. Whereas for quite a while now, I've been just trying to, everything's okay. All desensitizing type stuff, right? And I think it's time to start saying no. It's time to get with the ball a little bit. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna start with just some basic groundwork, see where we're at. As you can see, that send-off is just way too explosive. And this is nothing new. I mean, I've been talking about this in videos for however long I've had her. And, these things are not improving as fast as I would like them to, or was hoping they would. And I think there's a few factors working against me. One is that she's getting fed. Well, I don't know how much she was getting fed before, but I do know that she was quite a bit more underweight than she is now. She has quite a bit more muscling and quite a bit more fat on her body now than she did. So she's always going to have a little bit more energy. That was a nice step over in the back. I really liked that. Nice looking shoe. She's taking a few steps forward. All that's good. Head coming down. Some really good things happening here. This is really good. So maybe my work is paying off more than I realized. Just a little bit of backstory on the last couple days. So it's been pretty windy and kind of cold for quite a few days now. And I've noticed, most horses get more scared and more up in the cold and the wind, but her more than most, I feel like. There's most days when it's cold and windy, I can't even catch her in the pen. I might be able to, but it's going to take a while. Now she just went off on her own, and that's that stubbornness thing. So I'm just going to put her back to work. Whereas when it's warm, I'm able to catch her fairly easily. Today was nice and warm before the storm started, and I caught her, I think it took me about 4 minutes to catch her. So, that's not terrible. It's obviously not great. There's a licking at you. Good. That was a better send-off. It wasn't quite so explosive. Still not what I'd love. Now with this storm coming in, this may be an interesting session because this building doesn't have any insulation and it's obviously a metal roof, metal everything. And if it starts raining in here, it's gonna get very loud and she may get a little crazy. But, that's fine. That's what we're here for. I'd rather her get crazy now in a controlled environment like this than for her to get crazy when we're ponying out on a trail ride and a storm comes in for the first time. Now she started walking on her own there, so I'm just gonna ask her to go back to work a little bit. She completely missed my stop there because she's just not paying any attention. Missed the stop there. And she's going the new direction well. She's just not, that time she didn't. There. I like how she's sitting back, rocking on her haunches, coming through that turn nicely. There was better. She's just not paying a lot of attention to me right now. And it's, it's okay. She's got a lot else on her mind with this storm coming in, like I say, and all that kind of stuff. Choose wisely. See, she's thinking about doing the right thing, but then she's like, no, I can't. She does the right thing, and it's easy. Better. I love how she's stepping over in the back now. Now she drifted towards the door there, so I'm going to go ahead and send her. So she's trying to get over to the out gate over there by the camera to go back to her pen is what she's trying to do. And when I'm asking her to go the other way, She knows she's supposed to do it, but she can't, her body's going this way, this way, this way, this way, and she can't get in the gear to go that way until she explodes that way, and everything just, her mind just turns off. Now there's the same thing, she's trying to drift over that way to the gate. Same thing, she exploded and tried to explode back to the gate. So this would, if you just went ahead and just rode her, just put a big old bit in her mouth and hopped on her back and rode out the bucks and whatever, that explosion towards the gate, which in here just looks like a little bit of a lean and maybe a jump, if I was a mile out on a trail ride and she exploded towards the gate, that would be a bolt all the way back to the barn, which would not be fun. And a lot of people ask when they're asking my advice, or you see these posts online and all kinds of stuff, or people are like, how do I fix my horse bolting back to the barn when I'm a mile out on the trail ride? Well, this right here is how you fix that. If it's happening here, much better. It's gonna happen on the trail ride. She's given to this halter pretty good too. I don't remember how good she was at that when we first started, but like that right there. Now, I didn't actually ask you to stop. Good. But I like that she's kind of communicating with me. There we go. That's a nice slower trot. I'd be okay if she just came back to a walk here. But I'm not really asking her to walk. I'm not at the point of speed control with her. I'm doing speed control with Braveheart now a little bit, but I'm not really at the point of doing speed control with her. More, I'm just saying you need to go that direction, and hey, it'd be kind of cool if you just relax. Like, you don't have to explode, For her right now, relaxing would mean just coming down into a nice, easy walk. She's putting more effort into it right now than she needs to. But still, this is a much nicer trot than probably I've ever gotten on video with her, I think, if I recall. See how it's either trot or stop. She doesn't have any in between right now. See, stop, or, no, keep going, or trot. So I'm basically pushing the brake pedal, pushing the brake pedal, pushing the brake pedal until she completely stops, and then I push the gas pedal. Eventually, she's just gonna come down into a nice, easy walk here. It's all part of helping her realize that relaxing is easier than being stressed out. So it's kind of a flip right now between trotting and stop, right? It's also kind of a flip between focusing on me and being aware that I'm here and completely tuned out. So whenever she's trotting, like now, you can watch her ears, she's pretty tuned out of me. And whenever she kind of hits the end of that rope, she's not really rolling her head towards me and actually engaging with me and knowing that I'm here. And when I kind of insist on it and say, hey, look at me, realize I'm here, boom, she stops. You notice that? So there's stop and focus, or dissociated and running away. Right now, when I'm trying to catch her, or if I'm on her back, how useful is that gonna be, right? Here comes the rain, so this is gonna get fun. How useful is that, maybe I can put the saddle on, and maybe I can, there we go. Now she's moving her feet and focusing a little bit. So it might be that I can get her to stand still and be present and okay, long enough to put the saddle on, long enough to jump on her back, but then what happens the first time I ask her to go forward? She completely tunes out that I'm there, breaks into a trot or more, and now you're on a truly out of control horse. I'm gonna go ahead and clean that up. Tie her over here where the camera can kind of see. So right there, she just didn't want to lead up. I was asking her to get a little bit closer to the fence so I could tie her, and she just didn't want to lead up, so I just held that pressure. Just like we did with Braveheart, she's just not nearly the same case that Braveheart is. There we go. All right, let me grab this, pick up this poop for real quick, and we'll get on with the video. So anyway, I hope all that I'm saying is making sense. It's annoying that it's not, I feel like I'm doing the right things with her. It just feels like it's not working real well. And kind of what I was saying at the beginning of the video, and I think I went on into talking about training quicker, but I didn't get to really finish it. But I was saying there's a lot of issues that I'm running into, or things that are making her more tough than most horses. And I think the reason this is taking longer is, see her set back there a little bit, but the good thing is there, even though she set back, she gave to the pressure once she hit it. She knew how to get up off that pressure, so that was really good. And that wasn't much pressure. I just have this rope wrapped around the bar here twice, 2 wraps around a preferred panel. I don't have it tied off. So she could have pulled that rope off there, but she felt just a little bit of pressure and gave to it. So that was actually really good. The couple of things that are working against me with her is, number one, she has had a baby, at least one. She is older. She was wild for a long time, obviously, being the Mustang and everything. So, those factors are gonna make things take a little longer. So anyway, like I say, I'm doing the best stuff I know how to do. Usually by coming up on 2 months of doing this stuff, we're a little bit further along than this. So I don't know what to tell you other than you got to go at the horse's pace, and I'm doing the best I know how to do. So, all right. So she is pretty focused, or was. There's some horses that she can see straight out that garage door behind the camera, and so she looked over there, but she didn't feel the need to move her feet. She's still staying focused. And I don't know if you can hear in the mic, but it is raining or maybe even hailing a little bit. And it's getting pretty loud in this building. So, I won't be surprised if she gets a little nutty here in a second. But we'll see. It'll be a really good experience for her. All right, she went in and took a step back there, so I'm just going to go ahead and send her. Have her do the opposite. See how she's trying to back up, and then she finally has to go forward. So she was in a backwards gear, which is what makes it really hard to catch her sometimes, because she tends to just back away from you and just back in circles, back wherever. So when she stopped there, she got off a little bit that way, so I'm going to go and send her again. I'm trying to keep my feet real still so that I don't artificially either pull more pressure or less pressure on the lead rope. I really want to see where is she pulling the rope away from me and where is she putting nice slack into the rope. Like there, she always pulls the rope away because she's trying to go over that way. And then she stops over here. Keep going. Keep going. So, it's a pretty simple formula, right? Just go around me this direction without hitting the end of the rope, and don't stop. And then you can kind of go as slow as you want to go, but just don't stop, and she can't. It's not that much to think about, and she can't process that with all the things going on in here. So it's hard for me to want to go on and work on anything more advanced. There's all kinds of things I'd like to work on with her. But if she can't just go and whenever she hits the end of that rope, not stop, and maybe even like she needs to maybe come down to a walk, maybe relax in this a little bit. If she can't do these things, I don't really want to ask her to do something that's even more mentally taxing than like the most basic thing a horse can do, run around in a circle. Better, better. See how she's focusing on me, but walking through that. A little bit better. She kind of broke to a walk there just a little bit. There we go. So here I probably want her to walk, nice low head right there, walk a full circle, which we're coming up on right here, and then I'll just go ahead and let her stop. Beautiful. Now with her, I'm okay that she walked a few steps up into me like that and then stopped. Most horses, I would send them right back to work if they did that. Braveheart, this new horse Louie I just got, if either one of those took those 2 steps at the end up towards me, I would send them back to work. With her though, she's the exact opposite type of horse, so it's an opposite thing. She usually stops and backs up a little bit and is like, let me get as far away from this guy as possible. And that time she stopped and said, hey, can I be your friend? I'm like, yeah, you can come up here a little bit. Now you can't, even her, she can't walk all over me, right? She can't come up here and exhibit full behavior or do something else like that. But, and there's a lick and a chew. I'm happy for her to come up here and kind of think in towards me versus thinking away from me. Now she came up here on her own. I'm just gonna latch this gate real quick and then I'm gonna go send her back to work. I think she thinks that I'm about to take her home. So we'll just go right back. So basically what happened is I got that first lick and a chew and she was all nice and relaxed, right? She was she was walking, looked and chewed. She's doing exactly what I asked. I just threw down the rope, basically ground tying, and walked away and said, hey, you can stand there and relax as long as you want to. But she chose to walk over there and now, look, we're right back where we started, right? So again, I'm not gonna move on until I could just come back, pick up the rope, come back right to where we left off. I could send her off, and instead of being an explosion and 20 circles of trotting, it would be just, okay, walk off. In that 10-second interlude, she completely lost all the progress that we made. So again, I would love to go on and do more advanced things with her, but this is the foundation. It's like building a house. If your foundation keeps cracking, yeah, no matter how much you want to build the house, you better stop and make the foundation not crack. Better. Now she started walking over there, so I'm just going to see if she can give me a full circle walking, and then I'll go ahead and give her the opportunity to stop. Right there. So notice also that I'm using a stop cue. I have 2 different stop cues. One is to drive the horse's hind end away and disengage them, which is kind of a drive away from you stop. They end up facing you to stop, but it's driving the hind end. And that's the one I use most of the time, and I've used that a lot with her too. But right here, especially after the horse gives me exactly what I want, which is to slow down and just walk and be soft on the lead rope. When they give me what I want, I don't really want to put more pressure on them. And especially with a horse like her, where everything is so away from me, I use a different stop cue, which is to draw in and draw the horse in towards me. So instead of driving the hind end away, I'm drawing the front end in. And again, it accomplishes the same thing, right? She ends up facing me both ways. But one is a drive and one is a draw, and we want to balance the drive and the draw in the horse as much as possible. A horse like Braveheart, you're going to use a lot more drive. I'm almost always send his hind end away. With her, I'm doing a little bit more balance. So I think I'll just wait here for a lick and a chew. Perfect, right on cue. And I'm just going to drop the lead rope and walk away. Now she's coming with me. I'm going to go ahead and catch the lead rope again. This is also good working on catching her. So when she's backing up like that, hopefully the camera can still see, I'm just going to lead her up. Whenever she gets a little bit scared and thinks she wants to back up, she just needs to get soft to the lead rope and move her feet forward, or at least stand and don't feel the need to back up. Much better. There you go, girl. Trying to be a little bit more brisk with her, like just coming up here and, slapping on her, and not hard, but like just kind of doing more. I feel like I have a tendency, I'm sure a lot of people do, to kind of creep around these horses and be real quiet, oh, don't shy away from it, because I'm trying to get a job done, and if I can get the halter on quicker, then it's that much quicker, but shying away from these horses and kind of creeping them around them really doesn't help them any. You kind of just got to go up and be blustery and then they're used to everything. And one day you just walk up and throw the saddle on, they're not like, oh my gosh, you know. Much better. Did you see that send off? Just a tiny bit of explosion, and then she walked about 3/4 of a circle before she just kind of said, oh, I can't do this anymore mentally, and had to go into that trot. But that's okay. I'm just gonna keep bumping her face to the inside, asking her to bend here a little bit, saying, hey, this trot's not gonna be super comfortable for you. You're gonna have to keep focusing on me and loosening that neck. And eventually she's gonna go, man, I don't know if I need to be trotting around here anymore. Maybe I should just loosen up, but don't stop either. There we go. There's the nice walk we're after. So all that trotting was for absolutely nothing. What was the purpose of all that? We're going to do it again. Yay. Better. All right, now that right there, did you notice how she went faster? I picked up on that lead rope, which mimics what? The rein, right? You picked up on that rein, and she came right down to back to a walk, a nice easy walk, not just coming down to a walk because she had to, coming down to a walk because she's starting to learn that whenever that pressure comes onto the side of the face like that, she should relax her body, put a bend in her neck, and slow down a little bit. That's going to be your emergency brake eventually. When we go to ride her, she starts to get a little like that, or her neck starts to go up a little bit. There, she brought herself back down. I love it. But let's say she did get a little anxious and she started trotting right there. I could just reach down and pick up on one rein, or eventually two reins, and her body should relax. She should just come right back down to the walk. Unless, let's say I just want some collection, I could pick up on two reins. She might relax her neck. She might start to slow down, and I could add a little feet, drive her up, keep the same speed, but I got what? More relaxation, and more collection. So the right parts of her body are engaged, the right muscles are engaged, and the right parts of her body are relaxed and loose, and that's where you get a really nice horse. And look at the way she's walking around right here. Like, this is how you want your horse walking around, right? Now, we don't always have that with her, but this is pretty good. Now, it took quite a while to get here. Like I said, we're not ready to throw a saddle on and expect that kind of walk under saddle, but this is pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and give her an opportunity to stop. Now, she didn't really catch that, so I'm just gonna go ahead and send her the other direction. So you see a little stubbornness, right? So she started to get so relaxed in that walk, which is a great thing. Don't get me wrong, I want the relaxation in the walk. But we got her so far over on the relaxation side that she kind of said, you don't matter anymore. I'm just walking. I know what I'm doing. I'm walking this way. I don't have to think about anything else. And as much as I like the relaxation, that can get you hurt just as quickly as the other one. Because you saw when I actually told her, no, you have to do what I tell you to do. See how quickly that relaxation went away? So there's a real fine balance here between her stubbornness and my demand that she do what I tell her to do versus her relaxation and my allowing her. See, she's not listening to me here, there. And when she finally does listen to me, it's an explosion, right? So it's almost like a carbon copy of what we just did on the other side, right? Okay, she's not really soft in her face here. So I'm going to keep this until she actually looks at me. But see, when she looks at me, her whole body has to come with it because there's no bend in her neck on this side. There's no give. She looked at me. It was almost like just acknowledging that I'm here, looking at me with both eyes, like that right there, almost spooks her, if you will. That was better. That send-off right there was getting better. And there's looking at you. And her head and neck start to relax a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and offer her an opportunity to stop. Now she didn't take it, so I'm gonna go ahead and send her the other direction. It's getting better, but it's so unnecessary what she's doing. You know, it's almost funny because it's like, dude, like just go the direction I'm telling you to go. It's not that big a deal. Like, I'm not getting that big with you. I'm not asking you to do anything that's scary, anything that's like difficult or painful or out of your control. I'm just asking you to go the same damn direction we've been going for like the whole time, you know, well, half the time. Anyway, you can see, I think that we are making progress with her because, I mean, obviously, because, you know, day one, she definitely didn't do that nice controlled walk. But at the same time, when she can't even depart right there at a walk without exploding and without just frantically searching for what direction to go, it's really hard for me to be like, yeah, we're doing great, you know? So I guess progress, yes. Nice bro course, no. Okay, she's back to a pretty relaxed state here. Her head's, you know, fairly low. There's a lick and a chew. So what I want to see now is, can she be relaxed and also catch my stop cue, which is this. Yes, better. Now she didn't step under with her hind end like she did, but that's partially because I'm stopping her in a different way, right? I'm pretty happy with that. She got her body stopped. She focused on me with both eyes. For now, I mean, compared to the way she stopped or didn't stop a couple times before, I'm okay with that. But I probably will send her to the left next time I send her because she's set up to go right. She didn't really fully stop straight on. So I think I'll go ahead and do that. I'm just going to ask her to go to the left. So hopefully you can see in the camera, whenever I point, whichever direction I point, she just automatically blocks everything out and tries to go the other direction. And she'll figure out eventually that that's a lot more work. There's absolutely no reason to do that, but it's just a mental thing. And this is where I think it's more stubbornness than fear. Because if it was truly fear, she'd just turn and take the halter and go, you know? I think it's just a habit that she's been in her brain to block humans out, and then a stubbornness that she's unwilling to give up that habit. She's doing way more work than she needs to be doing. But, you know, that's on her. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and ask her to stop here. Better, yeah. That's what I'm looking for. And then look how big of a lick and a chew and how much she lowered her head after that. All kinds of stuff. That's what I'm looking for. I'm just gonna give her an opportunity to just stand there. Of course, she's not gonna take it, but that's on her. It's not my problem. If she wants to go back to work that badly, we can go back to work. This is like what I was talking about earlier. When she starts backing like that, I'm just gonna undo it, leading her forward. She's kind of spooks like that. I'm just gonna undo it, lead her forward. She's kind of running her body out to that side. I'm trying to stay in front of the camera also. It's just it's sort of like when I'm sending her and I ask her to go right and she just automatically ducks out to the left. Same thing with this. If I pull this halter a little bit this way, she kind of just runs away from it with her shoulders. She's giving me her face, but she just kind of, that was actually pretty good. But a lot of times she just kind of, not subconsciously, but like first response is to run away instead of yield to the pressure and go. All right, now remember, I was not planning to do more work with her for a little bit. I was going to give her some time to rest, but she didn't want to take the opportunity to just sit there and relax, and so we're going to do some more work. And you can see we're right back to square one, like we haven't even worked today. So once again, she's improving a lot because I can get her to that nice relaxed point, and yet the very next time I send her off, it's like we've never even worked before. And that's where I think it's her having had a baby, it's her having lived wild for a lot of her life, and it's her, just the fact that the Mustang type bloodlines, the ones that survive out in the wild, are the ones that run away from predators the quickest and the first, the most, right? You got a herd of 10 horses, and there's a mountain lion chasing them. The one that gets started running last and gets tired and decides to quit running or goes, hey, let me see if this mountain lion wants to be my friend, that's the one that gets eaten. Versus domesticated horses, the ones that get bred are the ones that are the easiest to get along with humans. So it's a very different, I don't want to say evolution, but it is natural selection. It's a very different selection process between what domesticated horses and Mustangs go through. And so you put those three factors together, and I'm not trying to make excuses for myself because I would really like her to be better than where she's at, but when I can get her, it's just like, why? I didn't do anything, it's not like I'm using a lunge whip and like, whack, all I did was say go, and I gave her plenty of time to go, and then she just blows up. So anyway, like I said, I'm not trying to make excuses, but I am trying to say this is not my normal timeline for horses, but it's her timeline. I don't know of anything anyone could be doing better with her. I'm averaging about an hour a day with her, about 7 days a week, maybe averaging 5 days a week. There's some days I can't work with her. But ask her to stop. Now, she didn't really catch that, so I'm just going to ask her to go the other direction. Maybe somebody could work with her 3 hours a day or something. Maybe that would help. It might not, though. It might be worse. It might be too much for her brain. So she's just trying to escape. I think that's the main bottom line here, is that whenever I'm trying to catch her, or whenever I'm asking her to do anything, her first instinct is escape, escape. Where can I go to escape? And you only really get her caught when you kind of exhaust that escape option. And I'm not talking about cornering her, in the corner of the pen and diving on top of her and putting that halter on. I'm not talking about that at all. I'm talking about just sticking with her methodically until she just goes, man, this just isn't working, and kind of figures it out. But the same thing in here. I'm not running up to her and go the other direction. I'm just keeping the pressure on until she finally figures it out on her own. And she figures everything out. It's just everything happens after some sort of explosion. Okay, this is looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and offer her a place to stop. And she caught it much quicker. Good. The reason that I care about offering her a place to stop and how quickly she catches it is I need to know that while she's walking and relaxing, she's not just zoning everything out and relaxing because she forgets that I'm even here. That's not a good reason to relax, right? She needs to be relaxing because she's going, hey, if he tells me to do something, I'll catch it. So I'm going to keep an eye on him, and I can just relax. Oh, you need me to stop? Cool, I'll stop, right? Not, okay, I'm zoning everything out. Okay, I can relax. I can relax. And then all of a sudden, I'm telling her to go the opposite direction because 5 minutes ago I asked her to stop and she didn't catch it. And then she's like, oh my gosh, I got to go the other direction, right? All right, got a lick and a chew. Her head's a little high. I wasn't watching, I was talking. Probably just wait here for another lick and a chew, or some form of relaxation. I'd like to see her head come down again. I know she's done that a few times. I know she can. But she looks pretty aware. She's blinking. Her eyes or ears are moving around. She's breathing a little bit hard, but not bad. I think she'll give me a nice looking at you and put her head down here in a second. And if she does, I will walk over to the fence and offer her a chance to relax here more. And if she doesn't want to take it, then that means one of two things is happening. Either she doesn't feel comfortable enough yet in her own skin to just stand over here. She feels like she either needs to go back with me or go back to the other horses. So we're working on a destination addiction, buddy sourness, those sorts of things with this exercise. Or the other reason she's walking over there is she's just like, well, I just want to, so I get to do whatever I want. And so we're working on a bit of the stubbornness issue here potentially as well. And I don't know which reason it is, but what I do know is every time I offer her a chance to just stand here and relax, she immediately follows me over there. And there's only negative reasons to do that. There's buddy sourness, wanting to be done, stubbornness, these sorts of things. And I know that contradicts what a lot of people do, but I think they're wrong. Your horse should not follow you around unless you're asking it to. Now, if you train your horse to follow you around and everything else goes great and you just train your horse to follow you around, fine. But most horses that latch onto people, they're moving their feet. The horse is not truly relaxed because it's moving its feet and it's using the human. I got a whole deeper spiel I could go into on this, so I'm kind of just skimming the surface on this. But that horse feels the need to use the human as its coping mechanism rather than being comfortable just standing over there in its own skin. And that's going to lead to a lot of problems later. Good, so she's kind of in that unstable state that we've talked about quite a bit. You can tell she kind of wants to walk up towards me, but she also knows she's not supposed to, and that won't end well because she'll have to go back and do more work. So she's trying to kind of figure out what to do. She's like, should I walk in there, which is what I really want to do, or do I stay here? And if I stay here, what do I do? She doesn't really know yet. So she's thinking, I think eventually she's going to just lick and chew and put her head down. So notice that I've only really chosen to ask her to do something once today, the very first time. After that, everything that she's had to do has been initiated by her. There's another looking at you. That's awesome. I'm going to go ahead and just drop the rope and walk over to the pen or fence. Like right here, when I have to go back up there and grab her and send her back to work, I'm not asking her to go anywhere. It's just that she went ahead and walked off and chose not to take that relaxation that I offered her. And so now we have to go back to work. Even though that was a bit of an explosion, she didn't hide from that send quite like she has before. Now remember what I talked about every other time? It's like first time I've even worked her. Back to completely anxious, trotting when there's no need to. It's just, this is what I'm dealing with this horse every day. It's just reversion, whether it's from day one to day 2 to day 3 type of reversion, or whether it's just minute to minute reversion. I mean, how many times have we stood in this place and I picked up on that rope and asked for her attention and sent her off again? That shouldn't be a big deal to her, but it's like she's never done that before. She's like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what we're doing. So this is just, I mean, I don't want to say it's completely unexpected. I see this with most Mustangs. It's just the difference between the domesticated bloodlines and the Mustang bloodlines, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's somebody out there that works with Mustangs all the time that does a way better job than what I'm doing, gets better results, and maybe they're like, oh, you're just not doing it right. I'm doing the best I know how to do, and I get pretty good results. If somebody out there gets better results, I'm happy to learn what they're doing. I'm not going to listen to what people are doing if they don't get better results than me. I'm not interested in taking advice from people who don't get better results than me. But, you know, you have a method that makes that gets her not to revert so much and has her truly relaxed and obedient and not so stubborn quicker than where I'm getting to. Hey, I'd love to know what techniques you're using. I'm going to ask her to stop. She catches that nice and quick. Good. So that tells me that now, or at least at that moment, I had her focus while her feet were moving, which is a really, really big hurdle. That's actually really cool. Good. There's looking at you. Just going to go ahead and leave her alone. And this is different, right? She's actually staying put. And she walked a little bit, but it took her a lot longer, right? Go ahead and put her back to work. I like that. She didn't back up from when I went up to catch that rope quite as bad. Did just a little bit, but it's a significant improvement. And once again, it's like we've never done anything. This is what you call reverting. Oh, gosh. So I'm trying to be as small with all this stuff as possible. Like right there, I'm putting pressure, but I'm trying not to cause that explosion. But when she doesn't stop, and I ask her to go the new direction, I'm going to get pretty big right there pretty quick because I need her to realize, hey, you need to start paying attention to me and catching this stop as soon as I ask you to. That was better right there. She's still kind of faded that way a little bit better, but that was, or not better, she's faded a little there too much, but that was better. She paid attention enough to catch the stop, and then she was able to go the new direction. So anyway, that's why right there was a bit more explosion. I'm really trying to be as small with all my movements as possible and give her all the time, to pay attention and react. But, if she doesn't catch it, I'm going to get into going that new direction pretty quick. Better. I don't think I got to finish my point earlier, but earlier I was saying that I haven't actually asked her to do anything but once today. The very first time we came in, I sent her. After that, everything has been initiated by her. Maybe I did get to finish that point. I don't know. Anyway. I'm going to ask her to stop. She catches that pretty well. See that big old twitch through her body? But she didn't really face up at all, so I'm going to go ahead and ask her to go the other direction. You can see how she's leaning off to the left before whichever way I ask her to go. If I point right, she leans left, and then explodes right. And that shit's got to go. A little bit better. That was a better send. She didn't lean the opposite direction that time. She went right into the correct direction. And you can see because she didn't explode, now she just gets to walk around nicely. Very good. All right, not too bad. Leans the wrong way. Is any of that really necessary? It's just, we're going left, right, left, right, left, right. Like, it's not rocket science what the next thing I'm going to ask her to do is going to be. And yet it's like every single interaction, every single send is like the first time she's ever seen it. It's like, oh my gosh, you wanted me to go to the right? And then the next time, oh my gosh, you wanted me to go to the left? Are you kidding me? It's like, dude, like I say, every interaction is the very first interaction I ever had with her, it feels like. And I think there is a component that when you are terrified, and this is a psychological thing that happens in humans and horses. If you're terrified, you don't write things to memory. And I think that was interesting. There's a kind of an evolutionary, if you will, or a natural reason why that is. If you have a really traumatic experience, you don't really want to remember it, right? You might not want that to be written to your long-term memory. And so if she's really, really terrified about being in here, around me, away from the other horses, all these things, then, she's not in a position where she can learn. And so that might be what it is. Now, I think we're a little bit past that. I usually give horses that benefit of the doubt, like, okay, they're not in a position where they can learn for like a day or two, like maybe a week. We've been at this for 2 months. I think you've had enough time to kind of, and the fact that she can lick and chew, the fact that she's putting her head down some of the time, all these things, it's like, okay, you've had time to learn. There's no reason you don't know, okay, oh, he's pointing with that arm. I go this way. It's not that hard, But again, it's like right there, the very first time she's ever seen that before. I'm going to go ahead and pick up this poop. So frankly, I'm going to keep doing what I do. This is what I do. I'm going to do this process until it works. I've never really not had it work. So, particularly a horse I'm working every day, I'm just going to keep doing this. But I can't tell you when this is going to work because, like I say, every time is a new time. And I don't think it's that she's just so petrified that she's incapable of learning. She doesn't really seem petrified to me. She seems a little anxious and, worked up and stuff, but not petrified in the sense that I can't even learn, like terrified for my life type of terrified. She doesn't really seem that way. So, I don't know. This is a kind of a new one on me in terms of how long this is taking. This is typically how I would expect to see a horse in the first week of training, maybe first couple weeks, first month, to be, nice about it. But like this, that whole pulling back thing, but then she's not actually sitting back. Like, she's not super terrified, right? She's like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Well, okay, it's fine. No big deal. Like, what? See? But then she can step right up. I mean, it's just, that's what I mean. I think it's more habit at this point, probably, than anything else, maybe. I don't know. I'm guessing. Okay. Where were we? Oh, yeah, going in circles. That was a good send. I like that, and she's just walking. Good. It's all right. I'm videoing. My wife just walked up, so that's what she was spooking at. So whenever she goes the wrong direction like that, or what she's doing is preemptively, now she's thinking too far in her head. Before she wasn't thinking at all. Now she's thinking too far in the future. Whenever she does that, I'm just going to send her back the original direction, which is obviously more difficult for her because she's already set up going the other way. Much better. So she's back to her kind of worked up place right here, but she's not moving her feet, and she's focusing on me pretty well. She's kind of splitting her attention over there and me, but that's, this is good. Just gonna wait for that relaxation. And then that was actually a pretty decent little bit of groundwork right there. Definitely the best we've had today. So I think what I'm gonna do, there's looking at you. Instead of continuing to work on dropping the rope and walking over to the fence, and that definitely needs more work, but I don't want to just do that today. I want to get up on her sides a little bit and do some more desensitization, getting up in her space a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to that. Not that the other stuff was perfect, but I really want to start to get her a little bit more. And I've been up on her sides quite a bit. It's not like I haven't ever stood there. It's just she's still so reactive and scared about it. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to swing this rope, and she can move as long as she wants to, and I'm not going to change anything. I'm just going to keep swinging this rope until she comes to a stop, and then I stop. I am going to bring her back over where the camera can see. I need to set up like a multi-camera system in this barn, in this indoor, where I can go back and edit the video later. And now she starts moving. I'm going to keep this going, so it's basically more pressure until she stops, and then I stop. Now, I could send her right there because she took that step, but because she kind of was coming towards me and not in a threatening, I'm coming in your space way or anything, just not backing up. She has such a tendency to, oh my gosh, I'm backing up. I'm actually not going to do anything about her stepping in towards me a little bit there. So those extra steps she's taken right there, I want to do this until those go away. Right now, I'm not even thinking so much about like licking and chewing and relaxation and all those things. This is more to help me be able to catch her every single time, because the same thing happens when I go up to catch her. It's not that she turns and runs the other end of the pen. It's that she just goes a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. She just walks just fast enough to just stay out of reach, And it's hard to teach her not to do that when you're catching her in the pen, but this is the right place to start to teach her. When I walk up here and she does that, oh my gosh, I gotta walk a few steps, and then she stops, and it's the same thing in the pen. Usually she stops and I can then catch her, but I don't want my horses walking a couple steps away when I go to catch them. If anything, I want them coming to me, but really I just want them to stand right there and I can just go catch them. That's the ideal for me. See those steps where she starts to walk away? But they are getting smaller, right? She's not doing nearly as much. There's some more. Much better. That was beautiful right there. I think I'll be done with her on that. I'm gonna go ahead and put her up. She gave me both, well now she's following me, but like I said, I'm not gonna start working on that a bunch. She gave me one time where I walked over to the fence and she didn't follow. She gave me one time where I walked up and threw the lead rope over her back and she didn't move. So I'm good with that for today. Talk to you guys later.